Recap in minutes. In today's video, we will be enjoying a war horror film, entitled Trench 11. There will be spoilers ahead, chill out and enjoy. The movie begins by showing a Canadian tunneler, Lieutenant Burton, digging 78 feet beneath a German base to search and help other tunnelers that are trapped inside. He instructs his comrade to prepare the lights and water for them to go in. His comrade is hesitant to go in as he believes there's no more survivor inside. Besides, this could be a trap. Sensing the lack of commitment to complete the task, Burton asks him to go to the auxiliary tunnel instead and wait for him there. While looking for survivors, he comes across the decomposing body of a soldier. He is overwhelmed by the smell but can't afford to back down. A few inches from the dead soldier, he startles a survivor who screams. Immediately, Burton covers his mouth and warns him not to make any noise as the Germans are right above them. The warning is too late as the Germans heard the survivor earlier and then proceeded to detonate charges above them, trapping both of them underground. Lieutenant Burton survives. 3 months after the incident, Dr. Priest and Major Jennings, both British Army intelligence officers, report to the office of Colonel Ashcroft with crucial information on a deep German bunker called Trench 11, hidden within the Argonne Forest. A long strip of mountainous and wild woodland in northeastern France. Jennings is starting to get impatient, waiting for the officer. He can't wait to tell Colonel Ashcroft what he has for him. When he finally has the chance to speak to him, he informs the officer that, according to his sources, this base is led by a German officer named Reiner. Colonel Ashcroft is familiar with the man as he knows that he is called the Prophet by his men. He finds the move of the Germans very unusual and suspicious. Dr. Priest confirms to Colonel Ashcroft that Reiner is a legit threat. This German specializes in weaponizing chemicals and diseases like anthrax and cholera, among others. Both Jennings and Dr. Priest believe that Trench 11 is used as a base of operations for Reiner to make more weapons. Dr. Priest adds that when the Germans' line fell 2 days ago, they attempted to destroy the bunker before leaving, but they failed. Jennings believes that whatever they were working on, it's still down there. He requests an escort to guide them to the Argonne Forest. Colonel Ashcroft suggests that the escort would be Americans as the forest belongs to the Americans now. Jennings is not particularly happy with the recommendation, but he is fine with it. He also requests a tunneler. He already has a name. It will be the Canadian tunneler, Lieutenant Burton. The colonel is impressed when he goes over the credentials of the Canadian hero. He survived 12 days underground after a failed rescue operation. Colonel Ashcroft tells Jennings that Lieutenant Burton is on a leave of absence. Jennings is not so concerned about it as he knows where to look for him. Meanwhile, Burton spends time with French woman Veronique during this vacation. They are in a relationship. Burton expresses his desire to introduce the love of his life to his parents back in the US. His vacation is, however, cut short when he is forced to leave France in order to help Major Jennings' investigation. Major Jennings and 5 of his men, including Lieutenant Burton and Dr. Priest, arrive near Trench 11 along with their American escorts, Captain Cooper, Sergeant Pronger, and Private Kelly. Jennings is told that they need to wait for perfect timing before moving in. Jennings insists that they push on. Captain Cooper disagrees as there might still be Germans waiting for them. There are only 6 of them, and they can easily be overwhelmed if there's a gunfight. Major Jennings then changes his stance and is now okay to wait for safety. Dr. Priest is asked for his opinion about the American escorts by Jennings. The priest suggests that the officer go easy on them as they have been through hard battles, and the adversity that they went through starts to take its toll. Meanwhile, Sergeant Pronger and Private Kelly shows little respect for Lieutenant Burton's capability to be part of the team. Captain Cooper explains to them that Lieutenant Burton was buried 80 feet under and managed to dig himself out as no rescue came in. Nobody can question the heart of this man. The team slowly moves in. As they are a few years from the target, the American escorts separate from the team to do a recon of the area. The group discovers dead German soldiers in the trenches. It is revealed that the German army had shelled Trench 11 before the Allied soldiers arrived there, killing their fellow Germans in the process. It all started at the headquarters of the German 5th Army when General Aufwuls ordered Captain Müller and Reiner in to get rid of all the evidence of the nature of the Trench 11 project to prevent the Allies from discovering it. Reiner was not able to detonate the explosives inside during their retreat. Müller, who is appalled by Reiner's work, was then ordered to escort Reiner to the bunker to get the job done. Reiner and Müller had verbal sparring before the officer stepped in to remind them to focus on the task at hand. They must not leave any evidence behind. Back in the trench, the team is now reunited. They then discover evidence of German infighting and sabotage. Lieutenant Burton also notices that a ladder has been destroyed on purpose so that no one can go down or come up. That gives Jennings enough motivation to proceed, as the Germans might be hiding something so valuable. Lieutenant Burton is beginning to think that their mission is more than just to investigate. He then asks Major Jennings what their goal really is. Major Jennings lets him know that they are there to just do a recon and then report to the base. Lieutenant Burton then sets up a rope to be used in descending down to where they are supposed to collect evidence. Major Jennings wants his team to go down first. Lieutenant Burton insists that he does to make sure that it's safe. Lieutenant Burton notices some birds in cages that were left behind by the Germans. Sensing no threat whatsoever, he gives the go signal for the rest of the team to follow suit. As they descend deeper underground, they discover a sealed door that's left behind. There's also a German who appears to be dead. Lieutenant Burton uses a geophone to listen to what's possible inside the sealed door. He does not sense any movement inside, so he tells everyone that they are good to go. Dr. Priest notices that the German's hand is bloodied up. He believes that the German might have tried to climb out. To his surprise, the German is alive. The German survivor begs them not to open the door, or they will all die, but Jennings insists that they ignore him. Nothing can stop the officer from moving in. The German soldier then hysterically begs and pressures Cooper into shooting him. Cooper warns him many times while stepping backward, but it seems like the German prefers to die than to wait for the door to be opened. He is then shot by Cooper. Jennings turns the latch to go inside the door. They all then go in. The group moves deeper into the bunker and notices a person inside. They begin shooting but are unsuccessful in killing him. Moments later, the person takes it back to Kelly. As the two falls to the ground, the crazed man vomits on Kelly and rips a grenade off Pronger. Without a second thought, Burton immediately tosses the grenade away before it explodes. They manage to survive, but the explosion collapses the tunnel they came from. Burton suggests that they find another exit as soon as possible. Major Jennings orders Cooper and Burton to split and search for another way out, while he, Dr. Priest, Pronger, and Kelly investigate further down. Burton and Cooper are attacked by more crazed men while searching for an exit. Cooper is stabbed by one, and both are forced to engage and fight them off and escape. At the same time, Jennings and his team discover a hospital room with several beds. They also discover some documents that are left behind, including a map. A crazed man appears behind Pronger and starts screaming and attacking him. Pronger shoots him at point-blank range. As the man is lying down, they notice a worm coming out of his wound. To find out what's going on, Dr. Priest performs an autopsy on the dead German and discovers the man's body is full of worms, and the worms are causing him to act violently. Dr. Priest concludes the worms are not natural and were specifically designed. Humans are not supposed to contract these types of worms. Jennings orders his men to move, but Pronger and Kelly stage a mutiny and demand they leave the bunker. Pronger mentions that they will find Burton to guide them on their way out. Jennings confronts Pronger for not following a direct order. As Pronger steps forward, Jennings grabs his gun and aims at Pronger. Meanwhile, Kelly also aims at Jennings. A standoff ensues. Before shots are fired, the group is ambushed by German soldiers who eliminate Pronger and Jennings and then capture Kelly and Dr. Priest. Burton and Cooper finally see a way out, but the Germans take them prisoner, before they ascend. Captain Mueller confronts Reiner and reminds him that he already told him that the place would soon be discovered by the Allies. Mueller demands to know where the rest of his men are. Reiner confesses that they lost 7 men, including the tunneler. That explains why they failed to destroy the base and all the evidence within. Mueller believes that the intruders must have brought a tunneler with them. He will be going after that man and use him to blow the tunnel up. Mueller informs the prisoners that the tunnel needs to be destroyed, and they all must cooperate, or they will all be killed. Dr. Priest insists that nobody leaves the tunnel until they know what spreads the disease. Mueller asks who the tunneler is among the prisoners. Lieutenant Burton identifies himself. At first, Mueller is not convinced as Burton appears to be too tall for the job. He checks Burton's hands and is now satisfied that he is the man for the task. He orders everyone to assist Burton. Dr. Priest remains uncooperative. Reiner, who was nearby and listening to the whole time, demands to speak with Dr. Priest. Reiner interrogates Dr. Priest and tries to get him to relate to his twisted view on science. Dr. Priest figures out that the worms were designed to kill allied livestock but jump species to infect humans. In turn, Reiner reveals that he marveled at the results and deliberately bred deadlier strains. Mueller escorts Burton, Cooper, and Kelly into the lower levels where the charges are located, but Kelly succumbs to the parasite and kills Cooper. Burton is left with no other choice than to Kelly and then holds Mueller at gunpoint but stands down after Mueller convinces him that the parasite will kill everyone if it ever gets out. Dr. Priest desperately tries to reason with Reiner not to use the parasite for the sake of civilian lives, but Reiner remains adamant about using the parasite to destroy Europe and rebuild it under German rule. He then tortures Dr. Priest. Burton and Mueller finally locate the charges and discover that the explosives were never rigged in the first place. After executing, Dr. Reiner demands to seal the lower level and then flood it with poison gas. He also demands to collect his parasites. Burton and Mueller are forced to escape and find another way to detonate the explosives. Burton tries to rig the explosive to a clock timer for a remote detonation, but an infected soldier attacks them, breaking Mueller's leg and destroying the clock. Unable to move, Mueller stays behind and gives Burton time to arm any remaining explosives and escape. Burton finishes and reaches for the exit but is shot in the leg by Reiner and his guard. Reiner then mocks and tortures Burton, who endures the punishment to distract Reiner and his guard long enough for Mueller to detonate the explosives. The sudden explosion catches both of them off guard, which allows Burton to kill the guard and engage Reiner in a brawl. Reiner tries to escape, but Burton is able to trip him. As he falls to the ground, his eye is pierced by a vial in his hand. Not long after, the tunnel collapses on Reiner while Burton barely escapes. The movie ends with all his might. Lieutenant Burton hobbles from the site and sees a vision of Veronique. That gives him the much needed courage to go on. He is then able to come out. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this and help the channel grow.